The Bengals have finalized their initial 53-man roster. Let's get my thoughts on, well, exactly that. 6 wide receivers. I didn't have that on my bingo card. Plus, sticking with the formula, 3 tight ends, but cutting a couple preseason favorites. I think that's the headliner. We will get into it all right here on Cincinnati Bengals Talk. Hi again, everyone, and welcome in to CBT. I'm James Rapien of allbengals.com. Hit that subscribe button, ring the bell, and, well, the regular season is almost here because cutdown day is in the past. And yes, let's react to the initial roster. That is going to change. I'm pretty confident it's going to change because, well, I asked about Joseph Ossai today with Zach Taylor, and we played the clip on an earlier video, and he said he's undergoing more tests. And so when I see that, and then when I see 6 vested veterans, and what vested veterans mean are guys that you release and they're not subject to waivers. They can make a decision on where they go next. Heck, they could sign to your team in the next day or two if you make some moves roster-wise, injured reserve-wise. Tanner Hudson, preseason favorite, released, is a vested veteran. Sidney Jones IV, Stanley Morgan Jr., who is a big part of this Bengals team. Michael Thomas, Trent Taylor, Trevor Siemian. I think at least one of those guys is going to make his way back to the Bengals 53-man roster, and multiple guys in that group probably on the practice squad. But as far as Joseph Ossai, we will see there how long he is out. I know Kelsey Conway of the Enquirer reporting that it is an ankle injury, a high ankle sprain, to be specific. So how long is he out? We'll see. But overall, there weren't too many surprises. And one thing that is really clear to me is that this is the deepest team that the Bengals have had. And it's just really tough to make roster decisions. I was surprised by the 10 offensive linemen. And there's a couple of things at work here. One, maybe they wanted Max Sharping to get a few more sessions as a center. 2, maybe they thought he was too good to move on from, and a big part of their line. At the same time, they looked at Trey Hill and said, he's still our second best center option as far as snapping the ball goes. Maybe that's the case. But outside of that, there weren't really any surprises in the offensive line room. Akeem Adeniji got cut. We didn't have him on our final 53. We had 9 offensive linemen, not 10. Trey Hill being the difference there. And that's what led to 3 tight ends. Mitch Wilcox, I tried to say he was a lock as much as possible. I know there was some Drew Sample discussion. Obviously, he made the team as well. And so easy decisions there. And I'm just looking over here to make sure that I have my ducks in a row as far as the roster is concerned, because they finalized it less than a half hour ago from recording this. Let's get into the 4 running backs. 4 running backs. Trevion Williams, I think it's interesting. He's healthier now. Zach Taylor saying that he could be back on the practice field this week. So we knew that they were probably going to keep Chris Evans, and he's played his way onto the roster, so good for Evans. I don't know if he's that third down back. Maybe it's Trevion Williams. Maybe they look to this waiver wire and add someone in the next 24, 48 hours, whether it's a vested veteran or if it's waivers, it'll be by noon on Wednesday. So we will keep you covered there. Wide receiver, keep an eye on Stanley Morgan Jr. I have a feeling he's going to hang around. Maybe I'm dead wrong on that. Maybe it's a tough conversation and he's not going to come back. If I had to bet, I would say he would come back. But Chase Boyd, Higgins, Jones, Irwin, Yosavash, all locks, all make sense. Total sense to me. Tanner Hudson in the tight end room. I don't think I need to say anything more about Jake Browning. He's the backup as of now. We knew that quarterbacks wise, so I just skipped over quarterbacks. Tight end wise, I think Tanner Hudson not making it is a surprise to some. I had him on. I thought he earned it. But the part of this that is interesting, this could be a handshake deal where you say you're a vested veteran, you're not subject to waivers. And I honestly missed the fact that he was a vested veteran. It doesn't really add up in my brain as I look at it. He's an experienced player in the league. But looking at it, he did. He got his 4 years in, 2 years in Tampa, 1 year in San Francisco, and then a year with the Giants last year. So technically he is, even though he's bounced around, was on the Bengals practice squad. So basically what happens is, let's say they have to put Joseph Ossai on injured reserve, or any of these guys on injured reserve, Deontay Smith. Let's say they do that. And that's why they kept 10 linemen, by the way. That could be the case. But if they do that, then it clears a spot and they go from 53 to 52, and then you could just re-sign Tanner Hudson. So Stanley Morgan Jr., Tanner Hudson, two guys that you could certainly see returning to the team in some capacity. Outside of that, really not many surprises. I mean, the defensive end spot, I had it exactly right when we went over it the other day. And the guy that I think some are going to be surprised isn't on there is Raymond Johnson III, because he was extremely disruptive. I agree with you. Really disruptive. The problem was with this roster, there just wasn't many spots available. And so when I go down this roster, it's like, man, like even coming into camp, there wasn't many areas where you're like, all right, well, this guy has a shot to make the team. Like Dominique Davis played well. Raymond Johnson III played well. And it was always a long shot. Always. And so we'll see if those guys can clear waivers. They are subject to waivers. If so, certainly both guys practice squad candidates and ideal practice squad candidates if you're the Bengals. And so they went with 5 defensive ends, 5 defensive tackles. J. Tufele making it as expected. Linebacker was easy. Pratt, Wilson, Davis Gaither, Bocce, and Bailey. Cornerback, DJ Ivey with the upset. And I don't mean upset coming into cutdown day. I mean upset from draft day. I don't think many people had all 7 Bengals rookies, 8 Bengals, 8? It's 8, right? I believe they had 8 draft picks because they traded down. Every single Bengals draft pick in the 2023 class making the Bengals roster, and yet they did, all of them. And it was 8, now that I think about it. So, yeah, I mean, whether it was Joseph Ossai, Robbins, obviously we knew Robbins was going to win the job there, the punter job, whether it was DJ Ivey, who just showed up, played well from the jump, beat out Sidney Jones, the 4th for that last cornerback spot, fared well, and you really love to see it. Obviously, the first couple of guys were always going to make it. Miles Murphy, DJ Turner, Jordan Battle, Charlie Jones. Charlie Jones did beat out Trent Taylor for that punt returner job. We'll see if Trent returns, get it, to the practice squad. I could see him doing that. Or maybe they just go with a guy like Kwame Lassiter II, and Trent Taylor is just kind of out there. We will see. But overall, makes a lot of sense. Lyle Collins still on the roster on the PUP list means that he's going to miss the first 4 games of the year. Still weeks away, according to Zach Taylor. No surprise there. I expect Mike Thomas to return to the practice squad. He's already hinted at that. He controls his own destiny. I think that happens. So overall, not many surprises. Stanley Morgan Jr., the biggest one to me, and then keeping Trey Hill and 10 offensive linemen. But all that could be is an indicator that Deontay Smith going on injured reserve, that they're bringing Stanley Morgan Jr. back, potentially. Like, let's let the dust settle a little bit more. Overall, though, 6 receivers, 4 running backs. I think that running back room is really wide open behind Joe Mixon. We may see – I wonder today if Travion Williams is healthy, because you're only rolling with 3 active running backs on game day. Which one is active and which one is inactive? Is it Evans? Is it down to Evans and Williams, or do they trust Evans and Williams so much as pass protectors by September 10th, that they roll with, and runners, by the way, that they roll with those 2 behind Mixon and try to settle that part before getting Chase Brown the ball? I think they like Brown a lot as a runner, and so we'll see. I think it's going to be interesting there. There's still plenty that has to play out. The Bengals are at practice on Wednesday, so make sure you hit that subscribe button. And when you ring the bell, what that's going to do, it's going to notify you anytime we go live, which we will have more live chats coming up. Anytime we post a video, we have an exclusive video, a sit down coming next week that I'm really, really excited about. So there's a ton coming your way here on Cincinnati Bengals Talk. So hit that subscribe button, ring the bell. And for Andrew Fox Miller, I'm James Rapien. Happy cut down day. More moves are on the horizon. That's my bold prediction that is sure to be right, even though the prediction on who they actually make a move for, that's strictly a guess. I have no idea, to be honest with you. It depends on health for a variety of reasons. So it's exciting times. The regular season is almost here. I can't wait. I know you can't wait. We'll talk to you soon. As always, for Andrew, I'm James Rapien. Thank you so much for watching Cincinnati Bengals Talk.